just to feel transported and to feel even the pressure of the tornado inside of the ears. These were all things that we were just fine tuning and wanting to create. The chairs vibrating. It's been a wonderful process of just trusting the Skywalker team to deliver on making it feel like we are inside and immersed in a tornado. And these guys have been incredible artists.
Dodge whatever's in there. It's big and it's moving fast. Drive. Go.
We'd set up this massive set piece, and then we'd have Glenn Powell in there, or Daisy Edgar-Jones in there, and they would make it really feel like a tornado's real. And what the VFX people and also the sound design people would tell me is that they can push the limits of what they're doing because the performances felt so real to them. Because otherwise, if the actors are holding back a little bit and the VFX and all that goes really far, then it wouldn't feel very real. So that interplay was really fun for me, and something that I couldn't wait for people to see.
I mean, I think that's one thing that when I watched the original film, like, I think it's so much fun to watch a group of people be equally like passionate about this one thing. And you know, I mean, obviously from Ireland, from you know, the UK, like our weather is pretty like uneventful most of the time. And so, but when we were filming in Oklahoma during tornado season, you really like, you know, it's such an event all the time. Like you just don't know what you're going to get. And so meeting these chasers, and I mean, there are these amazingly intelligent like people who are fascinated by weather and meteorologists, but there's also this sort of adrenaline junkie edge to them, which is so cool. I mean, they're some of the coolest people I've ever met, truly.
Yeah, they were all troopers, to be honest. It was. I can't believe some of the stuff that we put them through, to be honest. And we were whacking them with debris, and they were real troopers. They'd come up and I could tell that some things would shake them a little bit, but they'd get back in it and they'd want to do it. And they knew all the battle stories from the first Twister. They had heard how tough that was. So I think all of them came on board knowing that we're really trying to meet that bar and that level of realism.
You don't face your fears.
As soon as I read the script, I saw it set in Oklahoma. I grew up around there, so I have a very specific thing in mind when I hear Oklahoma, and I wanted to make sure we stay true to that. And Jan de Bont did an incredible job with that in the first Twister when he filmed in Oklahoma and Kansas. And what I wanted to do with this was to set it in Oklahoma and also film during tornado season, because I felt like we'd get good lighting and good clouds and all that. And I must admit that I was being really naive. And once we started filming, I saw the reality of what that meant. We were getting shut down so often.
Wow.
With lightning storms and incoming tornadoes and all these things that, it was quite a thrill.
You know, when we were in Oklahoma, we went line dancing a lot. We went out, you know, there's country music playing all the time. And this soundtrack is phenomenal. I mean, Luke Combs obviously doing Ain't No Love in Oklahoma. Like it's so cool. And actually that's a big part of chasing. You spend a lot of time riding in cars. And so the soundtrack is really important to, like, you know, to keep you energized, to keep you enthusiastic. And yeah, this soundtrack is so much fun. It's so good. It's so good.
But we also brought in a bunch of storm chasers when we were filming. So in the background, a lot of the background actors who are playing storm chasers, these are actual storm chasers. And on some of those days we were filming, they would tell me, if there's a tornado in the area, look, I'm not going to be here. I'm not going to show up. So, because they'll be out chasing. So I was just hoping that we'd have pleasant weather on those days they were working with us.
I'm sure they were looking at us like it's worse than this. Yeah, you know, but it's a movie. I mean, yeah. What do you expect? We're not. Come on. You know. but it was. But they, more than that, they were just really helpful. You know, they were really helpful. Like anytime we had a question about something we were saying or something we were doing, we'd act with, like, it was nice having them there when we could just you know, point to them and say, hey, was that correct? Like, did I sound crazy when I said that, or is that something you'd actually do? And you know, they'd be there to be like, no, Or yeah, you look crazy.
I remember one moment, you know, there's a sequence in the barn where Daisy and I are kind of working on the experiment and talking about the science. And I remember Kevin, our advisor, and sort of, you know, I think he was the head of NOAA at one point. He came up to us and just high-fived us. Do you remember right afterwards? He was like, "Oh, you nailed it. I loved when you were talking about the updraft and the striations." And I was like, "All right, cool." So it's always really nice when the real deal people are like, "Okay, you guys nailed it." Because this movie's about authenticity. It's supposed to feel, you know, it's a movie about the authenticity of the heartland and you know, this community and this family. And so it always feels good when the people we're trying to embody on the screen really love it and support it and find it to be the real deal. Virgin Radio.